Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the Dirty Pat Walsh channel here on YouTube with me, your host, Dirty Pat Walsh. So I'm gonna try to do another episode of my I can't remember what I call it. Anyway, I'm telling old stories from the road. Stories from the road. um. Uh. Wow. There's so many to choose from. How about I tell you about the tour I did that nobody came to? This was in uh no, I had just been married, um and well, this would have been around 2004, um 2003, 2004, 2004, I think. I can't. Isn't that awful? I can't remember the year I got married. Um, 2004, yeah. And anyway, I sat down at the computer one day. I was completely new to computer technology and networking and the World Wide Web and whatever. So I kind of put a challenge on myself. I had a little more chutzpah back then. I would have been like 33, I guess, 34, um, and yeah, I gave myself a half hour to book a tour from here, just as far as I could go and get home. I had a plan that, every gig would pay for the bus ticket to the next venue, and eventually I'd have enough to get home. And I booked myself a good tour. I thought, I thought. Um, Now the first one, the tour went from uh, Peterborough to Toronto to Hamilton, and I had a potential gig in Sault Ste. Marie, but I couldn't do it because it was just I would have had to screw around for a week, doing other stuff. But anyway, in a half an hour, I booked a three gig tour, and granted, one of them was local; it was easy, but the other two, Toronto and Hamilton. Um, Now the one I booked in Peterborough was at a bar called the Spill that we used to have. The Spill was just an amazing venue for music. It was one of the best music venues our city's ever seen. Hosted tons of indie, like every single band I ever played in played there. I think, with the exception of the Silver Hearts. I think. Um, Oh yeah, it was just a great venue. But anyway, so I booked my in town gig there. Uh, then I went to Toronto. Now the place I booked the gig at in Toronto, I thought was going to be really sweet, because the place I booked it at, it was a place called the Free Times Cafe, which is I think it's on Bloor Street. Um, And anyway, it's known, or at least when I was all my life growing up, it was known as, like, it's like a folky bar. It's like the place you go where if you want to see folk singers and blues singers and, of the like. Um, so I thought that was pretty cool, and also the Silver Hearts were kind of at our peak at this point, so I was kind of, you know, like I was able to. I thought I could use that as some sort of, like, hey, I'm the harmonica player from the Silver Hearts. Can I do a gig? Rather than just, hey, I'm Pat Walsh from Peterborough. Can I do a gig? Um, so, but anyway, it was all folly. It was all stupidity. Um, Anyway, the free times, they were really receptive. They were like, "Yeah, awesome," send us a poster. They said they requested send us 50 posters, and like the Xerox, just Xerox posters, uh, and we'll put them up for you. It'll be awesome, great. Show up, you know, and then after that, the cherry on top was going to be this 20 band punk rock festival, because in Hamilton there was this bartender, this woman named Sunny, and she was just the best. Like, you know how every town has the 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 bar mom, and and she was the one for Hamilton for sure, at this time, you know. This amazing bartender. We all knew her from the Silver Hearts and from just being in Hamilton, and it was her retirement party. It was so it was 20 punk rock bands. I was the only solo act, and I was the only out of town act. And I was friends with the promoter at the time. I'm not that I got nothing against him now. We just don't talk anyway. It's been 20 years, right? Um, but yeah, he was a real cool guy. I really liked him. His name was Brody. Um, now So that was it. I thought that was cool, man. I was gonna be doing this. I had this tour set up. I booked it in half an hour, you know, and I figured each ticket will pay. Like I figured at least I could make $20 to go to Toronto at the Peterborough gig, right? That's only like if 4 people come and pay $5 each, or 10 people come and pay $2 each, you know. I never draw a crowd in Peterborough. Even my gigs now are pretty, like, I play once a month down at Jethro's, and it's granted it's like a 6 to 8 kind of matinee almost gig, but it's pretty sparsely attended, and it's not. I know that I have fans in town. Like I know I do. On the occasion when I get in the right venue at the right moment, I get a lot of support mostly from the punks in town. I'm on a punk rock record label right now, Cryptid Covenant Records, and yeah, old habits never die, um, and so yeah, that's what I get a lot of, and that's who comes to my shows now mostly. It's like the young punk rock kind of crowd, right? It's cool, man. I like that a lot. But anyhow, I'm getting off track now. So I booked this tour, right, and thought it was gonna be awesome. So nobody came to the Peterborough gig, not one person. The bartender was there, James McKenney, and he gave me $5 out of the kindness of his heart. But nobody came, and so I had to pay for that ticket out of my own pocket. And now I had made this whole thing. I booked this thing like, I don't know, a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance, or something like that. There was time, right? I got these posters. I had these posters to the Free Times Cafe, like, well in good time for to advertise the show. Um, so I get there and I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be cool, a folky bar, people are gonna come. And the way the Free Times is set up, I don't even know if it still exists. It was a little cafe kind of bar in the front, and then there's like kind of a little theater in the back where you see the music, right? So there was a couple microphones and mic stands and PA, whatever. So I just sat up, and my buddy Steve McNabb, who I was staying with, he came and saw me, and that was it. Now, the posters I had made for that gig, when I was backstage getting the gear for the gig, the mics and the mic stands. Um, all the posters I made, I found them in a trash bin. It was like they were taken out of the envelope and dropped in the trash. They were like in a neat pile in the trash bin. Not one poster was up. I didn't, and I noticed that when I was walking around town. I was like, "There's not one of my posters up anywhere," you know. And so my friend Steve, who I was staying with, luckily, he came to see me, um, and we had a great night, me and Steve. You know, I played him a couple tunes, but we I canned it in. You know, it was funny because when I started playing, I thought, okay, well, like maybe no one's coming in because there's no music or something. So I just started playing, and the bartender turned the house music up so they to drown me out. And anyway, when I finished up there, I just called it quits and I'd ordered a can of soda when I was there, and I went up. I said, "How much do I owe you for the soda?" And she said, "Oh, it's $3." You know, like she was gonna give it to me, but got charged for the soda. So anyhow, I left. Me and Steve had a great night, and then I took the last of my money and I was off to Hamilton for this. I knew this was going to pay off because it was a 20 band festival and it was going to be great. Um, so I get to Hamilton the next day and I'm walking, and now not only is the guitar I'm playing a, a brass bodied tricone that's like 500 pounds. Uh, I used to own it. My ex-wife gave it to me as a wedding present, and I had to sell it for rent money about a decade ago. Still sad about it, you know. But um, uh, so yeah. Anyway, so it was super hot day, middle of summer. It was Canada Day. It was the 1st of July, and everything was closed in Hamilton. So like all I could do was wander the streets, and I couldn't go to the library. I couldn't, you know, go have a coffee anywhere. Like there was nothing, literally nothing to do. I just walked around town, uh, sitting down every now and then, and I also, and when I was walking around town, I noticed, much to my ever dropping heart, that there was no posters up for the gig. You know, you would figure that Sonny's retirement party with 20 bands, there'd be a poster, but I didn't see any posters. You know, so I was like, kind of like, all right. So I go up to the bar was called the Casbah, and we used to play there lots of times. It was a great bar, and I played there with who did I play there with? I played there with the Silver Hearts once. I played there with I used to have a little duo called the Friday Nights, and me and my friend Matthias, and we played there once. It was fun. He set his drum kit on fire, but it was only all he had was a tom and a hi hat and a snare. He set it all on fire. It was awesome. Um, anyhow, but that was a different show. Um, so anyway, so yeah, so after Toronto, I'm in Hamilton. I'm walking around town. There's no posters up, and I go. So I get to the Casbah for 6 because that's when I was told to be there for load in, sound check, and all. Nobody's there, and I'm just like, man, I was broke. Like I didn't have any money to get home, and so I just sat out there. I was sitting out there for like, I don't know, an hour, and somebody came out for like to have a cigarette and saw me and was like, "Hey, what's going on there, buddy?" And I said, "Well, I was told by Brody to be here for sound check and load in for 6 for the Sonny's retirement party." And she was like, "Oh no." And I said, "Yeah, I came from Peterborough to play this. I'm Pat Walsh from the Silverhearts." And she was like, "Oh, you're the only out of town act, and Brody didn't let you know. It's been postponed for 2 weeks. It's and the venue moved, so it wasn't for another 2 weeks in a different venue." And I had to. Anyway, she let me in, and she gave me a soda, and called Brody for me, and told him my plight, and he asked her to pay me my ticket home to Peterborough. So um, and the bar paid me $40, which was cool. And but I remember I had to wire my, or like phone my wife for money too. I think I was $10 short, or so. I can't remember what. But anyway, I had to ask for money to get home, which was shameful. Um, and I'm really grateful that Brody paid me and everything. But still, it was really disheartening. So I got home, and it was over a weekend, you know, and I thought to myself, wow, I did a tour. I did a 3-city tour, and not one person came to see me. That's how much of an impact I make on the Canadian music industry. So I can live with that now, you know. At the time, it was a little disheartening, but I'm fine with that now. Um, and I've always said, ever since that weekend, that I would completely do that whole trip again, just because mainly it gave me some time to myself, and gave me some time, just time alone, to reflect on my life and stuff, you know. So yeah, lots of things. Yeah, I played Toronto, and I have a horrible history of gigs in Toronto. I played in Toronto once at I can't even remember the bar name, uh, but I played there, and it was packed. It was like a packed house, right? And I was like, cool, man, this is great, And there was 3 acts. There was this uh oh yeah, these two. Oh no. Oh my goodness, I'm getting lost. Okay, this is all gonna be for another video. The other times in Toronto and Hamilton. Okay, God bless you all. Be well and stay free. Hopefully I'll not be dizzy soon. All right.